3 last-minute Ben Simmons trades we'd love to see. NBA training camps are set to begin on Tuesday, September 28th, but one notable player missing from camp for the Philadelphia 76ers will be Ben Simmons. All offseason long, Simmons and the 76ers have been batting heads, and between all the drama ensuing between him and the franchise/fan base after the Sixers lost their playoff series to the Hawks, Ben Simmons and his agent Rich Paul won out of Philly. The 76ers have been looking all offseason long for potential trade packages to unload Simmons in the 4 years, $146.6 million remaining on his contract, but they have been unable to get the return that they would like. Daryl Morey and the Philadelphia front office are asking for an all-star level talent and key players that can help them right away instead of young assets and draft picks for Simmons, which they absolutely should give that. Ben Simmons is a 3-time All-Star. But the only problem is that no other team in the league has been willing to offer this up. With the season less than a month away now, no team is going to want to drastically change their roster by giving up one of their best players for a player like Ben Simmons, who's being labeled a project by many around the league. If he's going to sit out through the preseason and then the start of the regular season, the Philadelphia 76ers will not be left with too many other choices than just take the best deal on the table for him, especially since they want to remain a title contending team against the likes of the Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks in the Eastern Conference. This trade could very well end up including 3, maybe 4 different teams, as trading at $30+ million salary is never easy for any team, but let's take a look at a couple of scenarios that only could make sense for Philadelphia 76ers involving Ben Simmons, but 3 trade packages would surely be interested in seeing happen. At number 3, we have the Philadelphia 76ers receiving D'Angelo Russell, guard Malik Beasley, forward Jaden McDaniels, Minnesota 2022 first-round pick unprotected, Minnesota 2023 first-round pick, swap more favorable to Philly, Minnesota 2024 first-round pick, top 5 protected. Minnesota Timberwolves receive guard/forward Ben Simmons, guard/forward Danny Green, and guard Isaiah Joe. For months now, the Minnesota Timberwolves have been long deemed the team with the most intentions of trading for Ben Simmons, and they may have shown their cards by getting rid of their president of basketball operations, Gerson Rosas. Minnesota fired Rosas on Wednesday and replaced him with executive vice president of basketball operations, Sachin Gupta. According to numerous reports, Gupta seems to be all in on the idea of trading for Ben Simmons, and he may very well be willing to offer up the assets that Rosas was not willing to offer in a deal for the 3-time All-Star. With Karl-Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards, the Timberwolves are ready to take the next step in the franchise, and trading for Ben Simmons would surely push Minnesota over the edge in terms of being a threat in the Western Conference. The Timberwolves still may not have title potential with this addition, but Minnesota would undeniably get better with the additions of Simmons and Green to their roster. Recently this offseason, the Timberwolves added the likes of Patrick Beverley and Taurean Prince, so all of a sudden, we could be looking at not only a much improved offensive team in Minnesota this year, but a very strong defensive team as well, an area that they have ranked near the bottom of the league in year by year. The Philadelphia 76ers may not be interested in guys like D'Angelo Russell and Malik Beasley, hence why a deal with the Minnesota Timberwolves has not been completed yet, but these are not bad pieces for them to get back in a trade whatsoever. In fact, compared to what other interested teams can offer, this is probably the best deal on the table right now for the Sixers and trade talks revolving around Simmons. Russell and Beasley can provide instant offense next to Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris on this roster, and the 76ers would get a handful of future value, as well not only in Jaden McDaniels, who was drafted 28th overall last year, but 2 first-round picks and a first-round swap. At number 2, we have Philadelphia 76ers receive guard Goran Dragic, forward OG Anunoby, guard Malik A. Flynn, Toronto 2022 first-round pick, unprotected, Toronto 2023 first-round pick, swap more favorable to Philly, Toronto Raptors receive guard/forward Ben Simmons, guard/forward Furkan Korkmaz. Believe it or not, the Raptors have a reasonable amount of interest in Ben Simmons, and adding him to their roster could once again make Toronto a championship contender. After years of being near the top of the Eastern Conference standings and in the playoffs, the Toronto Raptors finished the 2020-21 season with a 27-45 record and failed to make the playoffs for the first time since the 2012-13 season. Injuries and health protocols derailed the Toronto Raptors season before they could even get going, and while Toronto no longer has Kyle Lowry, Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, and Gary Trent Jr. remain key talents on the roster for them to build with. Siakam is a proven all-star talent, and VanVleet put up borderline all-star numbers last season, so there's no reason why Toronto cannot once again be a tough team to beat in the Eastern Conference. Defense has always been key for the Raptors, and replacing one all-star in Kyle Lowry with another in Ben Simmons, who is more versatile and better defensively, could immediately make this Toronto franchise a contending team in the Eastern Conference again. Goran Dragic seems like a veteran player that the Toronto Raptors would not mind moving on from if they can get a handful of value, and while OG Anunoby is a young talent they really like, he is definitely worth leveraging for an all-star like Simmons. Both Anunoby and Flynn are two young pieces of the Raptors' future, but leveraging them now with Dragic and some draft assets from Ben Simmons and Danny Green is definitely a strong move to make Toronto a contender again. They won a title once before in 2019 with Danny Green, and they could absolutely do so again after making this deal with the 76ers. As for Philadelphia, they again do not get an all-star level talent, but Goran Dragic has proven himself to be a championship caliber point guard as he helped lead the Miami Heat to the NBA Finals in 2020. OG Anunoby is a young, versatile forward that has a chance to win Most Improved Player this upcoming year, and Malachi Flynn gives the Sixers more depth in their backcourt, something they currently do not have a lot of. The Minnesota Timberwolves deal earlier is probably a better overall deal for the 76ers in terms of value and production they get, but in terms of guys who are ready to play now and in the future, this Toronto Raptors trade definitely has the edge. Keeping Simmons in the Eastern Conference may be something the Sixers do not want to do, but the Toronto Raptors are willing to part ways with the key assets of their core, then the Philadelphia 76ers will definitely have to consider this offer as one of the better ones that they have received. And finally, at number 1, the Philadelphia 76ers receive forward Andrew Wiggins, guard Terrence Ross, guard Michael Carter-Williams, Golden State Warriors 2022 first round pick unprotected, Orlando 2023 first round pick, top 3 protected, Golden State Warriors 2013 first round pick, swap more favorable to Philly. Golden State Warriors receive guard/forward Ben Simmons, guard Seth Curry, Orlando 2024 second round pick, protected top 40. Orlando Magic receive center James Wiseman, guard Moses Moody, forward Paul Reed. Much like there is not a lot going on in Philadelphia right now pertaining to Ben Simmons, there is a lot going on with the Golden State Warriors in regards to Andrew Wiggins. The former number 1 overall pick is not vaccinated against COVID-19, and the NBA recently declined his attempt for exemption based on religious belief, meaning that he is ineligible to play in the Golden State Warriors home games until he meets San Francisco's vaccination requirement. There has been no word on whether or not Wiggins is going to get vaccinated, but he is currently running out of time to do so before the start of the regular season. Could this give Golden State a really strong reason just to trade him right now and not have to deal with the consequences of Wiggins sitting out home games? Much like there's not a lot going on in Philadelphia right now pertaining to Ben Simmons, there is a lot going on with Golden State Warriors in regards to Andrew Wiggins. Golden State Warriors ownership has shot down rumors that they have been pursuing Ben Simmons, and Joe Lacob was even fined for stating that in some ways it doesn't really fit what we're doing. In regards to Ben Simmons potentially coming to Golden State, who knows if the Philadelphia 76ers would even be interested in Wiggins right now, given his situation with the Warriors, but the money does line up and work to this trade, and the Orlando Magic are definitely a third team who could be interested in getting involved, especially if they can land some key young talent. Landing Andrew Wiggins, Terrence Ross, Michael Carter-Williams, and a handful of valuable first-round draft picks is definitely a solid deal for Philadelphia, and they can get a variety of things here. Wiggins is a very strong two-way player on the wing who would complement Tobias Harris very well. Ross is a veteran wing who is known for his scoring ability off of the bench, giving the Sixers much-needed score in their second unit, and MCW would get to return to Philadelphia, the team that drafted him 11th overall in 2013. For Golden State, Ben Simmons may not fit into what they envision for the future right now, but adding him to this Warrior team gives them the two of the best defenders in the league, with Simmons and Draymond Green, and they would have another all-star playmaker that could wind up being a real threat on offense in a pick-and-roll situation with Stephen Curry. Not to mention, Golden State would probably be very open to adding Steph's younger brother, Seth, to their roster. In terms of getting what they would want, the Golden State Warriors definitely improved their roster to contend for a title right now. The Magic get what they would want in young talents with high potentials, but again, the Philadelphia 76ers do not really get what they have set out for in a trade revolving around Ben Simmons. None of Wiggins, Ross, or Carter-Williams are all-star talent, but all three of these guys can contribute right away in meaningful ways. These three guys may not be the most eye-popping talent the 76ers can get back in a trade involving Ben Simmons, but they have definitely experienced players who can help a contending team like the Philadelphia 76ers. So, we want to know all of your thoughts on this. Which one of these trades is the one that makes the most sense, and which one would just absolutely break the NBA? Where is Ben Simmons going to go? Is he going to stay in Philadelphia? Let us know all of your thoughts about this in the comment section down below. Well guys, thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to Tip Top Sports, ring that notification bell, and then you will never miss another amazing video from us in the future. Once again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you all in our next videos. Goodbye.